Have you ever pondered the enigmatic prophecies within the book of Daniel? Hidden within its ancient texts, the book of Daniel outlines a vision of four successive kingdoms, each symbolizing a distinct era in world history. This prophetic narrative has captivated the minds of scholars, theologians, and believers for centuries, suggesting a timeline of empires leading to the ultimate establishment of God's eternal kingdom. This prophecy, originating from the Jewish exiles in Babylon, is not merely a tale of ancient kingdoms, but a complex tapestry entwined with mythological, theological, and historical threads. Before we delve into the specifics of each kingdom, it's crucial to understand the context in which these prophecies were delivered. The book of Daniel is set during the Babylonian exile, a period when the Jewish people were forcibly removed from their homeland and brought to Babylon. This was a time of crisis and identity loss for the Jews, where questions about God's promises and their future loomed large. Daniel, a young nobleman taken to serve in the Babylonian court, becomes a vessel through whom God communicates profound visions and insights. The book of Daniel is written in two languages, Hebrew and Aramaic. Chapters 2 through 7, containing the visions of the kingdoms, are mostly in Aramaic, reflecting the language of the Babylonian court and emphasizing its message to the broader Gentile world. The interplay of languages symbolizes the intersection of Jewish faith and Gentile dominion. Daniel's prophecies emerge not merely as predictions, but as divine affirmations of Israel's hope and the overarching sovereignty of God in history. It is also important to consider the canonical structure and placement of the book of Daniel within the Old Testament. Positioned among the writings in the Hebrew Bible, yet among the prophets in the Christian Old Testament, Daniel bridges wisdom literature and apocalyptic prophecy. This duality in classification has prompted deep theological discourse and a richer understanding of the text's impact on both Jewish and Christian eschatology. Such a placement highlights its role as both a historical account and a visionary text that calls believers to reflect upon God's plans through time. Understanding the literary style of Daniel further enriches our comprehension of these prophecies. Apocalyptic literature, characterized by symbolic imagery and visions of divine intervention, aims to reveal a deeper spiritual truth. The use of symbols, such as the metals representing different kingdoms, is not just a narrative device, but a theological statement about God's control over historical processes. By interpreting these symbols, believers are invited to perceive the unfolding of divine plans amidst human history, reinforcing the message of hope and restoration. The prophecies within the book of Daniel begin with the kingdom of Babylon, portrayed as the head of gold in Nebuchadnezzar's dream of a colossal statue. Babylon, the mighty empire that held the Israelites in captivity, is considered the first of the four kingdoms. It was a civilization known for its opulence, majestic architecture like the Hanging Gardens, and its influence on the ancient Near East. Babylon was characterized by its grandeur and power, with Nebuchadnezzar as its most eminent ruler. In Daniel chapter 2, King Nebuchadnezzar dreams of a statue composed of various metals, each representing a successive kingdom. Daniel interprets the head of gold as Babylon, the epitome of splendor and sovereignty. This aligns with historical accounts, where Babylon was perceived as a formidable empire with vast military conquests and cultural achievements. Interestingly, the prophetic image of Babylon as gold is not merely a testament to its wealth, but also to its transient nature. Despite its initial supremacy, Babylon fell to the Medo-Persian Empire, marking the end of an era and fulfilling the prophecy of a kingdom lower than you, as stated in the book of Daniel. The imagery of gold also reflects Babylon's role in biblical history as a symbol of human achievement, void of divine submission, representing a kingdom that ultimately faces divine judgment and downfall. To underscore Babylon's historical significance, we must appreciate its role as a center of learning and culture. Babylonian achievements in astronomy, mathematics, and law were unmatched, influencing subsequent civilizations. Yet, the very strength of Babylon lay in its temporal, earthly power, which Daniel's prophecy asserts is ultimately fleeting. The legacy of Babylon's rule and its significant mark on history extend beyond its physical demise. Theologically, Babylon is often used as a metaphor for worldly power and rebellion against God. This profound concept of Babylon extends into the New Testament, where it symbolizes opposition to God's kingdom. In the book of Revelation, Babylon is depicted as the great harlot, a symbol of ultimate corruption and divine rebellion. Furthermore, the archaeological evidence of the ziggurats and other monumental structures in Babylon accentuates the grandeur that Daniel's visions allude to. These structures were not only religious centers, but also expressions of the empire's technological prowess and artistic ingenuity. The grandeur of Babylon's architecture is reflected in modern explorations of ruins, bringing to life the scale and splendor described in historical texts. The fall of Babylon, as seen through Daniel's prophetic lens, carries profound implications about the impermanence of human constructs and the ultimate role of divine providence in reshaping history. Babylon becomes a significant symbol of human civilization's rise and fall throughout history, emphasizing the prophetic message that no earthly empire can withstand divine will indefinitely. Following Babylon's golden reign, the book of Daniel introduces us to the second kingdom, symbolized by the chest and arms of silver. This represents the combined empire of the Medes and Persians. The Medo-Persian Empire is historically recognized as a dual kingdom, with the Persians rising to prominence under Cyrus the Great, who would go on to conquer Babylon itself. The Empire of Media and Persia, unlike Babylon, was known for its broad administrative systems and its relatively benevolent approach to conquered peoples. Cyrus is notably celebrated for his decree allowing the Jewish exiles to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple, marking a critical moment in Jewish history and prophetic fulfillment. This event is crucial as it reflects a significant shift in God's divine plan, steering his people back to their homeland. The silver in Daniel's vision denotes not only the wealth of the Medo-Persian Empire, but also its inferior splendor compared to Babylon's golden age. Symbolically, silver emphasizes a transition towards a more communal and federated governance, as opposed to the absolute centralized power of Babylon. The chest and arms in the statue reveal the dual nature of this empire, composed of two significant parts, the Medes and the Persians. Prophetically, the Medo-Persian period sets the stage for future conflicts and narratives, amplifying the continuing theme of divine sovereignty over the kingdoms of men. Moreover, the Medo-Persian Empire's policies of tolerance and restoration echo the biblical themes of redemption and divine mercy, highlighting the transient and varied nature of earthly kingdoms under God's ultimate dominion. Historically, the administrative genius of the Persians, such as their development of satrapies and the renowned royal road, demonstrates an efficient and pragmatic rule. Their system of governance allowed for significant cultural exchange and the flourishing of local traditions. The Persians' influence extended far beyond mere conquest, leaving lasting impacts on trade, religion, and governance that would influence subsequent empires. Examining the Persian royal archives, such as the Behistun inscription, reveals the empire's vast scope and its leadership's attempts to consolidate diverse peoples under a single administrative umbrella. This inscription, a grand proclamation by Darius the Great, provides insights into how the Persians managed loyalty across vast territories, balancing central authority with regional autonomy. Cyrus the Great's legacy included the creation of the first Charter of Human Rights, as seen in the Cyrus Cylinder. This artifact underscores Persia's unique approach to governance, allowing conquered peoples to maintain their customs and religions. Such policies fostered a relatively stable and cohesive empire, reflecting the silver's symbolism in Daniel's vision of a kingdom built on administrative skill and cultural sensitivity. The rise of Greece marks the third kingdom in Daniel's prophetic vision, represented through the belly and thighs of bronze. Greece, under the leadership of Alexander the Great, swiftly conquered the Medo-Persian Empire, extending its reach across a vast expanse of territories. This historical conquest is symbolized in Daniel by a powerful furnace of bronze, reflective of the Greeks' advancement in warfare, philosophy, and culture. Alexander's rapid conquests led to the widespread dissemination of Hellenistic culture, dramatically reshaping the social, political, and religious landscapes across the known world. This expansion of Greek culture and thought contributed significantly to the cultural and intellectual foundation of Western civilization. In the context of Daniel's vision, bronze not only depicts Greece's strength and resilience, but also serves as an emblem of cultural amalgamation, which was critical in refining the socio-political structures of other civilizations. The belly and thighs being of bronze highlight not only the strength and vastness of the Greek Empire, but also imply a degree of refinement and resilience that would impact future generations. Despite its grandeur, the Greek Empire fragmented upon Alexander's death, leading to the division into 4 Hellenistic kingdoms, as foreseen in Daniel's subsequent visions of horns and beasts. Theologically, Greece's influence is underscored by its role in preparing the world for the subsequent Roman Empire, which would host the birth of Christianity. The blending of cultures, languages, and ideas facilitated by Greek rule set the stage for the spread of the gospel, underscoring the divine orchestration of history in bringing forth the Messianic kingdom. The fragmentation following Alexander's death reflects the prophecy's insight into the inherent fragility of earthly empires. The Diadochi, Alexander's generals, carved out realms that would oscillate between collaboration and conflict, further illustrating the transient and divisive nature of human power structures. The profound impact of Hellenism was not confined to politics and military exploits, but permeated religious thought and philosophical inquiry. The Hellenistic period saw the emergence of schools of thought that influenced early Christian theology, such as Stoicism and Platonism. These philosophical traditions encouraged a synthesis of Greek and Eastern ideas, contributing to the rich tapestry of religious discourse that would shape the early church. The enduring legacy of Hellenistic culture, manifested through the spread of the Greek language and ideas, laid the groundwork for the New Testament's eventual composition in Koine Greek. This linguistic foundation was crucial in ensuring the early Christian message's wide dissemination and acceptance, illustrating the intricate connections between prophecy, historical developments, and theological evolution. Arriving at the Fourth Kingdom, we encounter the formidable iron of Rome, described in Daniel's vision as both the legs of iron and feet mixed with iron and clay. Rome stands as one of the most powerful and influential empires in world history, depicted here as unyielding iron, capable of crushing all opposition. The Roman Empire's rigorous military discipline, expansive legal systems, and engineering achievements solidified its legacy as an enduring symbol of power and order. The iron and clay mixture in the feet signifies both strength and fragility, symbolizing Rome's eventual division and internal decay that led to its downfall. Prophetically, the Roman Empire represents an age of human history characterized by law and governance, but ultimately marred by division and moral decline. This period, significant for the emergence of Christianity, saw the initial persecution of Christians, followed by the eventual official acceptance of Christianity under Constantine. It was during Rome's reign that Jesus Christ was born, executed, and resurrected, events that would forever alter the spiritual landscape of the world. The mixture of iron and clay also foretells the empire's gradual fragmentation, a metaphor for the inherent instability in human institutions built on power without divine foundation. Daniel's prophecy emphasizes the fallibility of human kingdoms, no matter how strong, and contrasts them with the eternal kingdom of God, which according to Christian eschatology will ultimately prevail. The Roman Empire's vast network of roads, aqueducts, and cities facilitated not only commerce and governance, but also the spread of ideas, including the nascent Christian faith. This infrastructure ironically became instrumental in propagating the very religion that would challenge the empire's traditional polytheistic beliefs. The grandeur of the Roman legal system, with its enduring principles of law and citizenship, reflects a legacy that influences modern judicial systems worldwide. Yet it was this same legal framework that paradoxically both protected and persecuted early Christians. Notably, figures such as the Apostle Paul, a Roman citizen, leveraged his legal rights to spread Christian teachings under Roman oversight, illustrating the complex interplay between state power and religious movements. The prophecy concerning Rome's division is seen in history through the eventual splitting into the Western and Eastern Roman empires. The Eastern Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, continued to influence culture and religion long after the Western Empire's decline, showcasing the prophecy's layered complexity and long-term implications for historical and theological narratives. The climax of Daniel's prophetic narrative arrives with the establishment of God's kingdom, an eternal dominion that supersedes all earthly empires. Throughout history, interpretations of this divine kingdom have varied, yet the central theme remains: God's sovereignty will triumph over all human authority. In Daniel's visions, this kingdom is symbolized as a stone, not made by human hands, that strikes the statue, breaking it to pieces, before growing to fill the entire earth. This imagery is a powerful testament to the divinely ordained dominion that is to come, a kingdom characterized by justice, peace, and everlasting reign. Historically, various interpretations, ranging from Jewish and Christian perspectives, have sought to understand how and when this divine kingdom will manifest. Theologians have debated whether this is a future event, or if it symbolizes the current spiritual kingdom established through Jesus Christ and his church. Christian theology, particularly among futurists and dispensationalists, views this kingdom as the millennial reign of Christ, yet to be realized fully. Others, particularly from a preterist perspective, believe that the prophecies have already been fulfilled with the establishment of the Christian church in the 1st century CE. Regardless of doctrinal stance, the theme presents a hopeful and inevitable outcome: the establishment of a divine order where God's values and laws will reign supreme, offering a stark contrast to the transient and flawed human kingdoms. The imagery of the stone becomes particularly poignant when considered alongside Daniel's interpretation of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. The stone, not crafted by human hands, signifies a divine intervention in human history, a reminder that God's plans transcend human endeavors and empires. The concept of God's eternal kingdom continues to resonate within contemporary faith communities, providing a source of hope and assurance in a world marked by uncertainty and change. This kingdom represents the culmination of divine justice and peace, qualities that every believer aspires to see fulfilled in their lifetime or beyond. As we conclude this exploration of the 4 kingdoms of Daniel, we are left with profound insights into the intersection of history, prophecy, and theology. The narratives woven through Daniel's visions offer timeless lessons on the rise and fall of empires, the sovereignty of the divine, and the hope of an eternal kingdom. The prophetic sequences serve as a reminder of the transitory nature of earthly power and the enduring promise of divine authority. In a world continually shaped by political upheaval and societal change, the messages contained within Daniel underscore the profound belief in a divine plan that guides history toward an ultimate fulfillment. This exploration invites reflection on the balance between human ambition and divine will, encouraging believers to find faith in the sovereign purpose of God, even amidst the uncertainties of human history. Such reflections beckon us to consider our place within this grand narrative, urging us to seek alignment with the values of the anticipated divine kingdom. In summation, Daniel's prophecies, while rooted in the context of ancient empires, resonate with eternal truths about the nature of power, justice, and ultimate redemption. They are an invitation to trust in the divine orchestration of history, reassuring the faithful of God's unchanging promise to establish a kingdom that will never end. The prophecies of Daniel continue to be relevant in contemporary theological discourse, serving as a foundation for understanding eschatology within both Jewish and Christian traditions. They challenge us to consider the nature of power and the ethical responsibilities of leaders and nations. The dynamics of rise and fall, depicted through the metallic statue, urge caution against hubris and the idolization of temporal achievements. In today's geopolitical climate, where empires and alliances continue to shift, Daniel's visions remind us of the importance of humility and faithfulness. They call believers to remember that no matter how powerful a nation or leader may seem, ultimate authority rests with God. Daniel's narrative also encourages a hopeful outlook. Despite the daunting circumstances the Jewish exiles faced, the visions promised a future anchored in divine justice and everlasting peace. This promise remains a cornerstone of hope for believers navigating present-day challenges. Moreover, Daniel's ability to interpret dreams and visions highlights the importance of wisdom and discernment. These qualities are essential in navigating complex moral and ethical decisions in contemporary society. Daniel's life serves as a model for maintaining faith under pressure, standing firm in convictions, and influencing secular powers for divine purposes. One of the enduring messages from Daniel's prophecies is the call to perseverance. Just as Daniel and his companions remained steadfast in their faith amidst trials, modern believers are encouraged to endure and maintain integrity, trusting in the eventual realization of God's promises. By reflecting on the lessons from Daniel, individuals and communities can gain a deeper understanding of their faith journey, acknowledging the cyclical nature of history while anticipating the transformative power of God's eternal kingdom. This perspective not only enriches theological insight, but also inspires optimism and resilience in the face of life's complexities. We hope you found this journey through the mysterious prophecies of Daniel enriching and thought-provoking. If you enjoyed this exploration, please like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful explorations of biblical history and prophecy. Thank you for joining us, and may your own spiritual journey be blessed with insight and understanding.